The Voight-Kampff test is obviously a test for empathy, but not everyone fully understands the principle of its work. I'll try to explain to you this topic using Rachel's test as an example. In addition to this, you will understand exactly how Deckard figured out that Rachel is a replicant. Empathy is a conscious skill of empathizing with another being and requires developed cognitive abilities. Some emotions, such as fear or anger, manifest in us literally from infancy. Others require time and special conditions, such as prolonged exposure to society and communication. Things like empathy do not appear immediately, so not every replicant is capable of developing it within their limited lifespan.
It's your birthday. Someone gives you a calfskin wallet.
I wouldn't accept it. Also, I'd report the person who gave it to me to the police.
This is Rachel's first question, and it already reveals a moral dilemma. She was given a wallet made of calfskin, for which, judging by the answer, one could end up behind bars in this world. The question allows us to simultaneously trace an emotional reaction to the killing of an animal and betrayal of a friend who came to your birthday with a gift, and also compare them in terms of intensity.
You've got a little boy. He shows you his butterfly collection, plus the killing jar.
I take him to the doctor.
A similar dilemma, but here we're talking about collecting as a typical human hobby and punishing not someone who you don't know, but your own child.
You're watching television. Suddenly you realize there's a wasp crawling on your arm.
I'd kill it.
In this question, Rachel decides to kill an insect without a shadow of doubt, showing absolutely no remorse. The VK device confirmed this. She answered sincerely. The situations are different, and all of them are ambiguous even for an ordinary person, which for a replicant should be a tough problem. We humans are quite strange creatures, and understanding our unwritten rules and twists and turns isn't easy, especially when you are few years old without full life experience in society. Imagine a pile of questions in an average replicant's head. Why do people feel sorry for butterflies but kill wasps or mosquitoes? Love some animals but are disgusted by others. Love dogs and rabbits but they don't eat the former and they do the latter. All these nuances are difficult to remember, understand, let alone accompany with a corresponding reaction. That's why even the smartest replicant is doomed to fail the Voight-Kampff test, and on average they need 20 to 30 questions. Leon's emotional development was at the level of a child. He can empathize with a turtle, but he certainly cannot understand all these complex quirks of human nature. He simply doesn't have the corresponding experience or memories that would form an adequate unconscious emotional response. By asking him a question about his mother, the Blade Runner is literally trying to catch his opponent in a lie, because he knows that replicants simply don't have mothers, and therefore he will have to lie, but his words will not be supported by the corresponding emotional reaction. But unlike Leon, Rachel has a memory, which complicates the Blade Runner's job. Implanted memories of her mother allow Rachel to answer questions related to her, even though she knows that her memories aren't real. The Voight-Kampff test isn't only about empathy, but also about self-identification, emotions and memory as integral parts of it. Pay attention to Rachel's behavior during the test. At first, she was extremely confident, answering clearly, quickly, and sometimes even with a hint of sarcasm in her voice. The girl is smart, has developed social skills, confidently holds a conversation, maintains eye contact, and has good self-control skills. In many ways, she is complete opposite of Leon, but something clearly went wrong on the last question.
You're watching a stage play. A banquet is in progress. The guests are enjoying an appetizer of raw oysters. The entree consists of boiled dog.
Rachel lowered her gaze for the first time and got confused. It seems that this was where doubts visited her about being human. But what was so special about this question? The instrument's sensors detected a strong emotional reaction to the mention of oysters, even before the words about boiled dog were spoken. Deckard leaned back in his chair, throwing a slight smirk. Rachel's reaction clearly interested him. The question mentioned a banquet that takes place on stage. That is, it's not even a real banquet, but a staged one. An abstract situation within an abstract situation, which makes the mental construct for the replicant significantly more complex. The guests eat raw oysters, and the main dish is boiled dog. This same moral dilemma as in previous cases. I'm sure each one of us would ignore the oysters, but would be extremely negative about the prospect of witnessing the dissection and consumption of boiled dog. This is the expected human reaction to this question. In our culture, it isn't acceptable to eat dogs, and empathy towards them is the norm. But Rachel's situation seems extraordinary. For her, eating oysters is more unacceptable than eating a dog. In the script, this circumstance is explicitly stated by Deckard, but in the movie this clarification is omitted. Deckard interpreted this reaction as evidence that Rachel was a replicant. It seems that she's imitating emotions, but doing it incorrectly. However, things are not as straightforward as they were with Leon. Rachel can be justified with just a little bit of thoughts about the situation. Boiled dog may be disgusting to us, but it's neutral to Koreans or Chinese. The same goes for oysters, which are non-kosher food for Jews and can cause a strong feeling of disgust. Moreover, for some followers of Judaism, dogs are considered unclean animals. It is not normal to consume them as food, but it is also unacceptable to keep them as pets. This would explain the lack of empathy towards cooked dog. Therefore, the reason for Rachel's reaction is as follows. She's woman of Jewish culture, and the revelation of this fact was unexpected and unpleasant for her. Her character arc in the film is largely tied to self-identification and self-acceptance. After playing the piano, Rachel lets her hair down and adjusts it. We see her natural hairstyle for the first time instead of her business curls. It was typical for Jewish girl in the 80s. This interpretation of her character, as with Leon's autism, opens up another vast layer of subtext in the film, containing a lot of interesting questions. But we'll talk about them some other time.